Sam Schluter, the straight shooter, bringing you another fine installment of The Shoot with Sam Schluter. And this evening's special guest is somebody that was introduced to me through a mutual friend, and I'm meeting him for the first time, just like you are. His name is Brandon Whitley. He is former Pro South All Out champion. He's been wrestling for 6 years on the independent scene, trained by Ace Haven to start wrestling. He's 28 years old, so he's got a big, bright future ahead of him. Was born and raised in Anniston, Alabama, before moving to Douglasville, Georgia in about 2020 and pursued an advanced training in wrestling and a better job opportunity. That's what we all want, and was inspired by some of the legends, but his favorite inspirations were Booker T and Rob Van Dam to pursue wrestling. Grew up as a two-sport athlete in high school, played football and soccer. That's football and football for the Spanish community. Go! All right, without further ado, let's welcome Brandon Whitley. Hey,
How
hey,
you
hey.
doing, Sam?
Hey, Brandon. Thanks for joining us. I'm glad to finally meet you. I know we've been corresponding together last few days, but we got you here today, and we're so excited to find out more about Brandon Whitley.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
Yeah, sure, without a doubt. So, former Pro South All Out champion. How long was the title reign?
It was about 5 or 6 months. I can't remember the exact number, date, or weeks. But Pro South Wrestling is a weekly show, so it was constantly every week I was wrestling,
Defending.
defending the championship and whatnot.
Yeah,
So I
that's
think it was, and I got it back in December of 2020 at the Pro South Anniversary Show.
two-time former Pro South All Out champion.
Oh no, just once.
Oh, just one time?
That's what I wanted. Yeah,
Okay.
I won it in December, and
Mm-hmm.
then lost it in, was it June or was it May? It was May or June. It was one of those months. I can't remember exactly.
Hey, well, that was a good fucking stretch. You know, you held it for 5 months. You're putting it on the line every month. I mean, every week. I'm sorry. Every week is on the line, and that's a title right there worth being recognized because you don't get to just put it on the line every pay per view. You get like a month break in between. You're going in and you're the workhorse, huh?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't every week, but it was on an often basis. At one point in time, I did defend it for like 3 weeks straight.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had a little break where it was like I had a match with like another champion, and then I was in a tag match. Then I had to defend it again.
Right. And you said your inspirations were Booker T and Rob Van Dam. Were those are not only your inspirations, were they your favorite wrestlers growing up? When did you start watching wrestling? How old were you?
I was 8 years old, and it was back in 2001. So I missed the whole Monday Night Wars. I missed, yeah, I missed that. Like literally, when I started watching wrestling, it was about 6 months after the WCW buyout.
Oh man, it's still a
Yeah,
pretty good
so
time.
I was seeing all these people for the first time. They was just all under one roof, versus me watching three different shows, which was Raw, Nitro, and ECW.
And now this generation has this so lucky because they could just get on the network or get on YouTube and they could watch all of that. Once if
Right.
I missed a Monday Night Raw episode on WCW and Monday Night Raw, I'm like, oh, I had to ask my friends what happened. We were too poor for the dirt sheet, so we had to gather around and whatever your friends told you. So were those your two favorite wrestlers when you were growing up?
Yes. All right. So Rob Van Dam. So Rob Van Dam is the one that got me hooked on the product.
Mm-hmm.
Then I don't know what show this was. I don't even know what match it was, but I'm just seeing Rob Van Dam for the first time, and I'm a martial arts fan. Like I like seeing martial arts
Oh yeah.
movies.
Oh yeah.
So seeing somebody just do this stuff in a wrestling environment after like 3 or 4 matches of watching other stuff, I'm like, okay, so here we go. So he got me hooked on the product. Then I seen Booker T later on in the card, and I'm like, whoa, wait, hold on. Because Book, that's not a small dude. He's
Right.
6'3" and athletic. And I'm like, okay, so he's big, he moves well, and not only that, he has dreads. You didn't see a lot of black men around that time with like dreads on like a national stage like that.
That's right.
And this was before I found out about his background. So those are my two favorite wrestlers until 2 years went by, and they was doing the build up to WrestleMania 19. So
Hmm.
Rob Van Dam is teaming up with Kane for a little tag team run, and Booker T was going into a feud with Triple H, and that's when they touched on his background. You know, he was born and raised in Houston. He was the youngest out of God knows how many kids. He lost his mom at 5. Around this time, I was living with my mom. She was a single mom, and we were living in the projects.
Right.
So I'm like, yo,
If
I
he
can
could do it,
almost relate.
if he could do it, I could do it too, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I'm like, if he could do it, I could do it too. But that's not the part that got me. So I'm seeing all these obstacles. It got to the part where he went to prison for robbery,
Yeah.
and I was like, wait a minute. He went to prison. He robbed somebody,
Right.
and he got out and didn't go back. That's the part that got me. Because most of the time when black males go to prison,
They don't
they
come
either
out.
do they don't come out, or they'll come out, do something stupid, and go back.
Right. And I relate to what you're saying because like when I was young and I was during like the golden age, when I was young, started Hulk Hogan, and when Hulkamania first started, I'm from
Hmm.
Chicago. I was born and raised in the city of Chicago. So when I seen Mr. T, who's a Chicago native, and if you knew at my age, when I was young, Mr. T was big. Everybody knew Mr. T, knew from Chicago. And then I'm Puerto Rican and seeing a man of color. And I remember seeing like you know, um the strike force that had Tito in it, the Mexican luchadors, and that was like a representative of my people, and maybe hey, they could do that too. And then hey, the first I'm only 5'7", so the first time I seen Rey Mysterio, like oh snap, you could be small and still be a wrestler. So it's like and it wasn't like gimmicky like small people wrestling or nothing like that. He's like fighting giants. So I could feel you on that. Now it says here on your bio you did two athletes in two sport athlete. You've always been two sport athlete, football and soccer. I like soccer. It's very rare that you find a Puerto Rican that loves soccer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But so you being a black man, how was that? Like playing soccer in high school? How was that? Did people give you shit for that, or were you actually good? What position did you play?
I was a defender, so here's a story about soccer. I was not gonna give soccer a chance. So my best friend, his name is Gustavo. He's Mexican. So in high school, in ninth and 10th grade, we didn't have a soccer team, but he kept fighting for a soccer team. He was
Mm,
like, "We need soccer, we need soccer, we need soccer." He was doing club soccer, but he wanted to represent the school in a way. Because I talked him into playing football, and he didn't like it,
right.
but he was big and aggressive. So I'm like, "Goose, man, we need a guard. We need a guard. Come play football." He was like, "Come on, man. You know I don't like football." I'm like, "But you big and aggressive. Like, you know, who's gonna mess with you?"
Right. Right.
So then it came in a full circle when we finally got a soccer team and all these people were signing up. He realized my name wasn't on the list. I was gonna run track. So he walks up to me like full aggressive while we in a lunch line. I just want to get my food and eat. He walks up to me, is like, "Why is your name not on the soccer list?" I'm like, "Goose, you ask uh, soccer? I never played soccer a day in my life." I was like, "Look around. We're in a predominant black school, and you expect us to play soccer?
Soccer.
Like we don't kick. Black people don't kick. Do you see a black kicker in the NFL? What's wrong with you?" So I was just being ignorant, and then he's like, "Dude, do you know how many black people play soccer?" I'm like, "They don't count. They overseas." But I don't know nothing about. I didn't know nothing about worldwide soccer at the
Right.
time. I was just like, it's just completely out of my comfort zone. So I wasn't gonna try. He was like, "Man, just come and give it a try." I was like, "All right, I'm gonna come try this one day. If I don't like it, I'm gonna quit." I had already made up my mind. I was gonna just do it and quit afterwards. But I went to practice, liked it. We did some drills. It's challenging because it's my first time doing it. And one of the first things we doing is dribbling the ball. And I'm like, "Dude, this is hard. Like, what? What? Like, why am I doing this?"
A lot of
But then I
stamina.
got used. Yeah, but I had a lot of stamina around the time anyway, so stamina wasn't a thing for me. It was just I kept dribbling the ball and losing control of it, so I was getting frustrated. But we did a drill where I had to guard somebody. So the dudes was dribbling, they tried to score, but I would stop them, and they couldn't get around me. So coach automatically went, okay, he can't dribble, but he can stop people. And then he found out that I was a defensive end on the football team. So it just clicked that I was automatically a defensive player because I could stop people. And
Right.
people that's faster than me, I don't know how I did it, but I found out some type of technique where it was like extremely hard to get by me.
Right. Nice. Nice. Hey, so you always got to give 100% no matter what you do. And that's real cool story, man. You're into football, you're into soccer, you know. It's very rare that you see young black males playing soccer, in an all predominantly, black neighborhood or a black high school. That's real cool. So you're always a trendsetter, huh? So you grew up on Rob Van Dam, Booker T's an inspiration. You started watching when you were about 8 years old. You said
Yeah,
when
I was 8 years
when
old.
when did you find out that it wasn't a shoot? When did you find out when it wasn't a shoot? Like I'm gonna tell you legit. Like one of my favorite. I'm a big Hulkamaniac fan since I was, you know, 5, 6 years old, 1983, and when Andre the Giant ripped off the cross in the Piper's Pit, I cried. I cried. I thought it was legit. I was like, oh no, he tore the cross of the Hulkamaniacs. But when did you realize, like, oh, this is a shoot? And then when did you pick up on it? And then like, oh, maybe I could try to do this. And then how was it like
now,
your first day in class? It's like
now,
3-part question there.
yeah. Now, watching it as a fan, I never found as a fan that it was a shoot. It was literally my first day of training when I realized I was like, wait a minute, thi- this is how it is. So this is actually a theater thing. So my classmates wasn't lying because I thought everybody was just messing with me. Cause like growing up, everybody's like, dude, you know it's fake. You know it's fake. I'm like, no,
Don't
it's
use the
not.
effort. Don't use the effort. My brother used
Yeah,
to say, "Hey, that's fake, right?" I'd be like, "Shut up, Hulkamaniacs
yeah, like
forever."
yeah, I used to legit get mad. But then I got in like high school and they like, dude, you watch that fake stuff? I'm like, look, it's entertaining. Just leave me alone. But I never asked how it was fake. And nobody ever went into detail. They'll just go, well, it's fake and it's rigged and this and that. And it didn't make any sense to me. If you don't explain something in detail to me, it's not going to make any sense when you tell me. So it was literally the first day of training and we're running drills and what was it? They was doing so Ace Haven. So we started doing a roll drill. Then you ended with a bump, and then when that person recovers from the bump, you take a bump and feed.
Right.
So everybody else doing this rolling drill, and then they bump. Once they fed up, Ace will run a comeback on them, and I'm like, wait, what? And while he's running this comeback, he's calling out the moves before he do it. It was like clothesline, boom, something else, something else, something else, boom, throw a line, watch out for the Morrison. And I was like, watch out for the Morrison. And
Bam.
it was a flying kick from the second rope. And I was like, whoa, oh, so they wasn't lying.
Right. Right.
They wasn't lying. But I'm like, oh well, I'm already here now, so it is what it is.
So after your first class, you're like, "Yeah, it's not a shoot, but man, my body's hurt." Because I remember when I started training, I did like about 8 months of training down in wrestling, Pro Wrestling 2.0 with Alex Pertot, known as the Pug in WWF, and I remember that first day of class, it was like because I always did martial arts since I was little, 5 years old. Always did martial arts, competed martial arts until I was well into my 30s. I'm 44 years old now, but like I always had a hard time of not hitting somebody for real. And then you always got to do everything to the left side, to the left side, to the left side, and then like I would just do like off reflexes, whichever side felt better, because that's how a real fight is, organic, you know.
Right.
So that was my most difficult thing is that, and remembering the cause, because they're like, all right, up and over, and then I'm gonna toss you, and then when I'll get through halfway, I'll draw a blank and be like, what was I supposed to do? Because I'm like trying to trying to feel like it's not a real fight. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, what was the most difficult part that you had when you first started training and getting a hold of the business and getting comfortable with yourself and what your abilities are?
Well, one of the hardest things was rushing. I did everything with speed, and that came from the football and soccer background. It's like you gotta do it with speed, speed. You gotta
Right.
get there, you gotta get there, you gotta get there.
I got two.
So
I
when
got two speeds: stop and go. So I feel you.
yeah, yeah. So it's like I'll be doing something and I'll do it fast, and then I was constantly like getting the slow down lecture. And at first I wouldn't understand it. I was like, slow down, like, but why? Like, it's got to get done. And like I said, if you don't explain things in the detail, it's not gonna make sense. Finally, somebody realized that you had to explain stuff to detail. I mean, they sat me down. Was like, look, the reason you got to slow down is so that way when you're in front of an audience, they can marinate on what's going on. It
Yes.
was like it's not a sport. It was like in sports you got to do stuff with speed. They see that, but if you run a spot with speed, they're not gonna know what happened.
They're gonna
And
miss
it
the
was
little
like,
nuances of it. They need to see the story being played out. If you're moving and rushing, they need to see. Yep, you're right about that.
yeah, and not only rushing, I'm naturally fast. So the person explaining this, they're like, not only are you rushing, but you're naturally fast. So you're doing stuff so fast, you don't even we have a hard time seeing what you're doing because you just do it so fast, so quick. And I'm like, oh man, that's that football thing. I don't know how to break it. It was like it's gonna take a while, but eventually you'll break it. And it was something else that I had a hard time. Psychology. It probably took me a good 2 years to understand the psychology stuff, because I never looked at stuff from like a theater or standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
because I was still looking at stuff from like a sports perspective
Right.
and fighting and stuff. And it's like, okay, well, if this happens, I'm just gonna just do this. But it ain't like, nah, because the audience ain't gonna understand it. So the psychology part of trying to help the audience understand what was going on, it took about, I was doing shows by this point. It took about 2 years to finally understand that.
Right. My trainer always told me it's in the face, the acting. Ooh, ah, oh. You want to make it believable. And I was like, hey, I used to do, I was a drama major in high school, so I was like, oh, let me tap into some of that, drama skills that I learned back in high school. And I was doing plays and stuff for the whole high school and stuff like that. So yeah, they always emphasize like it's on the facial expressions. And then if you're like a mass wrestler, then it's really important for you to really use your body movement and body mechanics to tell the story that you're trying to portray. So you've been doing it for 6 years, and you're
Hmm.
pretty well vetted in the business, and um, former champion, so they had some type of confidence in you. Put a title on you and carry it for half a year almost, and that's real good. And what kind of wrestler are you? Are you smash face, technical? Are you? I just could only see you from the shoulder up, and I think you're pretty big boy. Are you like a Keith Lee, a big boy, but you still move fast? You're agile and limber. What kind of wrestler are you, and what's your finisher? That's how I like to know. I want to know what's
All
your
right.
finisher.
Well, first off, the finisher is the scissors kick
Okay, the scissors
from
kick.
Booker T. That's a finisher.
Okay,
So I want to say halfway through the first year of training, when I got in wrestling, so I'm 6 foot 230. When
yeah.
I
Oh
started
yeah,
training,
it's a big boy.
when I started training, I didn't think I was gonna be like one of like the average size or big people. I thought I was gonna be one of the small people because I wasn't paying attention to what was going on in wrestling. I would just watch WWE and see you got your small guys, but they're struggling with the big guys. Like they
Mm,
overcome it, But you got all these big guys like Batista, Mark Henry, Kane, Big Show,
Right.
um, Triple H. He's no small guy. Edge, he's no small guy. Like, he's extremely long. Orton, all these all these average size, tall guys, big guys. So I'm like, okay, that's what we're gonna have on the Indies, right?
No,
Wrong.
it's a whole
So
mix.
so Ace was saying, come up with a move set that you can do to everybody. It was like, don't just come up with something just because you can do it to that small dude right there. What if you got to wrestle a big dude? So we had these three dudes. One dude name was Big Tomb. He was like 5'7", but he was close to 300 pounds. Like, he was built like a lineman because he was a lineman. We had this dude named James Hardy. He was kind of heavy at the time before he lost weight. And then there was this dude named Chris McCain. He was probably like 260. So he was like, come up with a move set that you could do to them three dudes and do to the small guys that you won't have to worry about. You won't have to worry about having to depend on the other guy. So then I was like, okay, my favorite wrestlers were RVD and Booker T. So if I just take their two styles, and at the same, I like Low Key too. Low Key was a late bloomer for me. A late bloomer as in the longer I started watching wrestling, once I discovered TNA and I seen him for the first time, I was immediately attracted to him. And I was like, yo, this dude is like a super aggressive version of Tajiri. Like, I like this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I took those three and I put them together and I was like, okay, that's going to be my move set. It's them three. So my offense is relied around kicks. So I do smash mouth slash martial arts. Like, I'm not deeply trained in the martial arts, but I did like mixed martial arts for like 6 months in my hometown. But
Mm-hmm.
then the gym had to shut down, and I haven't been able to get in another gym since
Right.
then. Because either A, I couldn't afford it, or B, it was too far. Then when I got to Douglasville, and there's like way more options now, I just couldn't afford it at the time. So when that time comes, I'll get back into one of these martial arts gyms.
Well,
But
that's
that's
awesome. That's awesome. If
but
you're
that's my
ever, go ahead. I'm sorry.
that's my style. It's like smash mouth slash martial arts. Cause I like the smash mouth dudes like Sheamus and them.
Right, right.
Those big dudes, they don't just rely. Even though they rely on strength, their stuff isn't just based on power moves. Like, they will get in there and they will beat down somebody, like beat them down. And that's the type of wrestling I like. It's just getting there and just slugging it out and beating them down. So like them house fights, like I'm not exactly like, I don't know if I'm a hoss because I consider hoss to be like 250 and up.
Mm-hmm.
So them big smash mouth hoss fights, like I like that stuff. And then like the dudes that do martial arts stuff, the athletic dudes, like I like that stuff. So I just took that and put it in my arsenal and just made it my own little unique style.
That's great. Hey, like I always tell all my guests, I've been studying, training, and teaching martial arts for quite some time now. So if you're ever in the Orlando area, give me a call, brother. I'll get you in and we'll do a little training, get you little strikes up, a little martial arts, little karate, and a little ground and pounding. Get you. I'd love to train with you. So I want the fans to know a little bit more personal side of Brandon Watley. When you're not smash mouthing, body slamming, and scissor kicking fools, you know what I'm saying? What do you do on your downtime? I've met a lot of indie wrestlers that don't even watch WWE, that don't even watch AEW. They're so busy with their regular job and then training or whatnot. So, what's a typical day with Brandon Watley if he's not having to do a show or train in wrestling or whatever?
Oh, well, yeah, like the typical indie wrestling guy. Like, I have a regular job. I have a 8 to 4:30 job, which is called Stitch Fix, which is a retail warehouse job. They became a corporate company back in 2010 or 11. So it's a fairly new company because it's only a decade old.
Okay.
And so I do that, and then on the side I do Uber Eats.
Okay.
for extra money because it's extremely expensive to live over here in Georgia versus Alabama.
Right. So you
And
doing whatever it takes to help feed the dream.
yeah, help feed the dream and feed myself.
And it looks like you could put away some food, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Now,
Like,
do you have a strict diet? Are you a big into weightlifting, or is it CrossFit, or more cardio stuff? What kind of workout you do?
um, bad thing is I haven't been in the gym since I don't know when. But since I'm constantly moving stuff at Stitch Fix, I didn't realize that my arms was like getting bigger until people see me at shows be like, dude, you been hitting the gym? You back in the gym now? I was like, no. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm
Working.
the same size. But it was, I would be pulling like racks of hangers, and my arms would get tired pulling them a certain way, so I'll pull them overhanded, then I'll switch them, and I didn't realize that it was like nearly working out with dumbbells. So I'm like dragging this stuff across the building all day and get the shows, and the results show there, and I need
Right.
to go back to the gym. And as far as the diet, no, my diet's trash. I eat like trash, and that's it. That's why I'm a big dude, because I just eat whatever. Like, I need to go on a diet, but dieting is hard. Like,
Right.
I'll
I feel
try to
you.
eat like vegetables and fruit and whatnot, but then my girlfriend might mess around and fry some chicken.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I'm
That's where
not
they
gonna
get
say
us.
no.
Hey,
I'm not gonna say
that's
no.
the common denominator between Puerto Ricans and black folks is fried chicken. Boy, they
Yeah,
fuck some
like
chicken
she
up.
might she might fry some chicken or cook some burgers or something, or she'll mess around. I'll walk in the house unexpectedly, buffet in there. I'm like, oh my god, like you
Not
set me up for failure right now. Then the
that's
same deal if I go visit my family in Birmingham. Like, I'll go see my dad. If he asks me the question, have you been to your grandma's house yet? And I say no, it's mandatory I go see her. And there's a meal waiting on me when I walk in the door.
oh well,
And she won't even know that I'm in town.
grandmas and older women of the family, they're like that, man. I used to go visit my grandma, and she'll come with a big old pot and with rice, pound, pound, put a big old mountain on my plate. I'm like 9 years old, mountain bigger than my head. I get like
Right.
I get like a quarter of the way. She's like, "Oh, you want some more? Come with the pot again." I'm like, I didn't even finish, you know. But man, that's awesome, and that's funny that you said that, because I was speaking to a couple of weeks back. I was speaking to a UFC fighter, former bantamweight champion, Tanya Evinger, and I asked her, how's your workout regimen? And she's like, I don't work out every day. I've been doing it for so long. Like I'm not one to be in the gym every day, but like if I got a fight and stuff like that, then yeah, we gonna train. But she stays in physically fit. So that's interesting that you said, like, I haven't been working out as late, but keeping a regular 9 to 5, yeah, keeps your body active, keeps you moving, and keeps you on the go. So, at least in slow motion is better than no motion, brother. Um,
Yeah.
so
I
what?
do plan on getting back in the gym,
Oh yeah.
like real. I do plan on getting back in the gym like real soon. But when I do, it's gonna be like I'm gonna lift weights like how I did when I played football. 4 days out the week, pick two body parts, and that's what I'm doing for that day.
So you're
So
gonna
it'll be
for
like,
right now you're gonna rely on being country strong, huh?
yep.
that natural strength. So hey, we got about 5 minutes left here on this interview. I want you to know, man, it's been a pleasure, and I want you to tell the people, how do they find Brandon Watley. I'm sure you're gonna get some new fans here from our 2KWE universe. As you know, we are a virtual wrestling promotion, so basically everything that is out there in real life, but in the video game. So we have a backstage. I make everybody wait backstage, call their number, your match is up, boom, come out, play your game, win your match, play to win, you know. So what's in the future for Brandon Watley? How could they get a hold of you if they want more interviews like this? They want to contract you for some work. What's your email? What's your tag? Instagram, Facebook? Let them know.
All right. So the email is WatleyBrandon92 at gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook. It's just Brandon Whitley. If you don't see my face in my profile picture is probably one of my T-shirts. So if you just see random artwork, just click on it. You'll see my name on there somewhere. That's how you know it's me. But my cover photo, that's me with like some additional information. So
And
that's
so you
me if
got
you
your
go on
own
there.
merch. You got your own merch. Plug that too, brother. Let them know how, if
Oh
they want to
yeah.
get a Brandon Watley T-shirt. How are we gonna do that?
Oh yeah. So T-shirts, hoodies, sweatpants, can holders. Go to storefrontier.com/Brandon-Watley. You can also find me on Twitter at bwatley92, capitalize the B. And I always forget my Instagram. It's either bwatley1992 or Brandon Whitley 1992, and everything's lowercase. I always forget my Instagram, but I know it's one of those two.
And looks like you're very busy, and we're very proud of you, and we wish you nothing but the luck for all of your future endeavors. And for sure, we're gonna have you back in the future, and we're gonna talk and see and follow you and follow your career very closely. And if you want, we'll create a virtual wrestler in your name and honor and likeness and have you on one of our shows.
That'll be dope.
Yeah. All right, brother. Thank you very much. Much appreciation, much respect, and much love. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I'm Sam Schluter with my new friend, Brandon Watley.
Thanks for
Final,
having me, Sam.
no problem. All right, bro. Y'all have a good day, and we'll see you next time, brother. Thank you very much.
All right, see